everyone, it's Bea here with another episode of Thought Catalogs in Your Feelings podcast. If you are new here, I'm just going to give you a little rundown of what In Your Feelings is. So I write a lot about the human experiences that we all deal with as we navigate heartbreak and moving on and trying to figure out our purpose in life and trying to figure out our value and our worth, et cetera, et cetera. And a lot of the articles on Thought Catalog also deal with those same topics. So we joined forces and came together to create a podcast that kind of had the capacity to dive into all of that in a very natural conversation. And so that's what you're going to be getting from this. Today, for example, we're going to be talking about love and how incredible it can be to believe in love, but how difficult it can be to also hold yourself to a standard where you aren't settling for less than you know you deserve. Sometimes we need to be reminded of our worth, and sometimes we need to be reminded of what we should be seeking out in the world and what we should be setting standard-wise for our hearts and the things that we bring into our lives in reference to relationships and the people that we connect with and the dynamics that we give our energy and our time and our soul to. And yeah, so I get a lot of messages about things along those lines. People ask me a lot of questions in relation to, you know, how do I know if this person is treating me well? Or how do I know what I deserve? Does this kind of love that all these poets talk about actually exist in the world? I have such a big heart, and I don't know if I'm ever going to find someone who meets me on that level. I get so many people talking to me about things like that. And I just wanted to create a podcast episode with Thought Catalog that dove into all of that and kind of acted as a little affirmative thing you can listen to again and again whenever you are doubting your heart or doubting what you deserve. This is going to act as a reminder for what you should be striving for and what you should be putting out into the world for your heart and what you should be seeking in reference to love and hope and belief in your relationships. So that's what we're going to do today. We can get right into it. And I really hope this affirms you and just reminds you that we all want the same things and that we shouldn't settle for anything less than that. I just want you all to take a minute to almost like forgive yourself for maybe settling for less than you deserved in the past. I think it's really important to just be at peace with the decisions you've made and be at peace with the things that you've let inside of your heart, but to also understand that you were learning and to be gentle with yourself there and to use those experiences and the way that you felt in those experiences as almost like markers and lessons, and you can like move forward from that knowing what you should be seeking. And now we're going to get into all of that. I have a few reminders that I've written down that I've kind of needed to remind myself of as I've navigated modern dating, and I've, started to like go out into the world and like meet new people. And sometimes it's so easy when you are an empath and when you are a deep feeler to like leap towards anything that just like makes you feel something beautiful and someone who like gives you attention and validation in this day and age. It is so easy to think that is for you, but something can be beautiful and lovely and wonderful and good, but it can still be something that's not necessarily going to fulfill you. It can still be something that is not necessarily for you. And so these are the reminders that I have kind of told myself when I've navigated those feelings and when I've navigated those relationships. I've needed to remind myself that I was kind of settling for less than what my heart deserved. So we're going to get into those now, and I really hope they help, and I hope they make you feel something and that they open up your chest and make you realize that, you are so unbelievably worthy of something tender and kind. So the first point that I want to get into is you deserve to be chosen. your heart deserves to be chosen. You deserve to be valued for who you are, and you deserve to be loved for who you are. And you don't have to beg for that love if it is for you. You do not have to chase the kind of love that is meant to be in your life. And I feel like with modern dating especially, we do tend to think that these intense, dramatic, almost hurtful moments just mean that we should keep trying and trying and trying and trying. It's so difficult. I mean, I know I've been in the position. I know so many of my friends have been in the position too, where they know that they need to stop chasing someone, but they just can't because there's so much love and hope and validation there and attention. And we are human beings who just want connection, and that's completely fine. But I feel like that need for connection can sometimes cause us to beg for the kind of love that actually isn't ever going to fulfill our hearts or nourish us in the way that our souls deserve to be nourished. So I just want to remind you, you do not have to chase what is for you. Love should not hurt you. You shouldn't be checking your phone 15 times a day, like being frustrated and sad and confused. Love does not exist within confusion. Love should not be this point of contention in your life. You should not feel like it is a dark cloud in your life. You will never have to chase something that is for you, because the love that you deserve doesn't have one foot out the door. And the love that you deserve is sure of you. And the love that you deserve knows that it wants to be with you. It stands in front of you and it is clear with you. And you should be striving to find the kind of love that feels soft and kind. And I understand how cliche that can sound. I understand how Pinteresty that can sound and silly that can sound, almost like a Hallmark card to some people, because so many of us have been hurt and so many of us have given our hearts to the wrong people that it can be difficult to believe in the fact that there is a love out there that just exists within ease, a love that doesn't break you but rather builds you. And that's a very normal way to feel, especially in this generation with modern dating and all of the games that come within that spectrum of relationships at this point in time. But I just hope every single person out there knows that there truly exists the like sunniest, happiest kind of connection with another human being. Like, I could tear up just thinking about the times that I've felt that with people, with family members, with friends, with romantic relationships. Like, this kind of love exists in so many places in your life. It exists within the laughter that you share with the people that you care for. It exists within the days that take your breath away and the moments that just make you connect with the fact that you're so like fucking alive. It's beautiful and it is easy. And I want all of you to think about those moments that you've experienced, whether they were on your own or with another human being. And I want you to just like tuck them into yourself for safekeeping. And whenever you doubt that beauty exists, that like sticky kind of hopefulness and belief in the beauty of other human beings, I want you to take them out and remind yourself that you've felt that before and that you don't have to doubt its existence, because that's the thing. Love doesn't exist within confusion. Love is truly the simplest, most beautiful thing that you will feel with another human being, and that's what you deserve. And that's what you should be striving for. You will not have to fight for someone who isn't fighting for you, and there will be no confusion and there will be no anger and no, there might be hardship. There absolutely will be hardships. That's just the reality of life and the reality of being an individual human being who might be going through their own things. And, we're connecting with other human beings who are dealing with their own baggage and their own work that they have to do and their own souls. And so when you mesh that together and you create a union, that's all going to come up and it's going to bubble up. But at the end of the day, you do deserve something that is tender, and you do deserve something that is just, you just know. I don't even know how to like fully put that into words, but if you've ever felt that and you can attest to it, it truly is an extension of who you are. It is like there are bits of your soul that leap towards the bits in someone else's soul, and they just like work together, and you know that on a fundamental level, and you know that during the hard times, and you know that during the times where things might feel a little darker, there's always that fundamental aspect of we are meant to be here together. We are meant to know each other, and we will know each other for as long as we get to pass through one another. There is that sureness that exists within connections, and that's what you deserve. That is the best feeling you will ever feel. The best feeling you will ever feel is to be loved back, is to feel something deeply for someone who also feels something deeply for you. That is like beauty personified, and that's something that you should strive to feel in your life. That's something you deserve to feel in your life. I just want to remind you that you deserve to feel seen, and you deserve the kind of love that strives to understand the way that you need to be loved, and the kind of love that holds you there. And I'm going to talk from personal experience here. As someone who cares a lot about the people in their life, I truly do know what it feels like to be understood on a level that doesn't make me feel like I am hard to love. But I also know what it is like to be loved or in a relationship that makes me almost want to like quiet my heartbeat in a way, or to apologize for the way that my everything inside of me just leaps towards romanticism or hopefulness or belief in the beauty of other people. I know what it's like to almost feel like you have to censor yourself or tear yourself apart just to fit into the ideal of a relationship or to fit into someone's understanding of you. And you know, on Thought Catalog, we talk so much about loving someone with anxiety or loving someone with depression or loving someone through the hardest moments of their life. And I know what it is like to be seen within that. And I know what it is like to not be seen within that. And so I just want to remind you, you deserve to find someone who wants to understand you, who wants to dig into your depth and dig into all of the things that you've been through and see your dark, and to kind of uncover all of the parts that other people maybe never clapped for in the past. And I want you to know that you deserve to be held there and encouraged there and loved there, because that is an incredible feeling. I feel like so many of us say that things are okay, or we censor ourselves, or we try to be easier, or we try to like edit, and this goes into, you know, wearing masks and trying to be these perfected versions of ourselves. But when you can show up in front of someone as a very real version of yourself, as a version of yourself that has panic attacks, or that maybe overthinks a lot, or that might have insecurities or vulnerabilities that other people never really took the time to unbutton within you, it's really beautiful. It's almost freeing, and that's what genuine love feels like. It feels freeing. Genuine love, the love that you deserve, is going to stand in front of you and choose you even when you are the worst version of yourself, even when darkness is clouded within your life, even when you are dealing with things it may not fully understand. It's going to sit you down and work through things with you and be there for you and choose you on a level that just, is there for you. And that is that's a really hard thing to stand up for. I understand that, but it's what you deserve. You don't have to apologize for the way that you exist in this world, and the love that you deserve will not ask you to do that. I always just need to remind people that when you are not your best, you deserve a love that strives to be your best. And that comes with being seen, and that comes with taking off your masks, and that comes with obviously being vulnerable. Because at the end of the day, life gets really difficult. It gets really, really difficult, and it gets hard. And there are things that arise, like sickness, for example, or financial trouble, or, mental health problems that people are just trying to deal with as human beings. There's so much that comes up in life, and you deserve a love that will show up for you within that. I mean, when I was growing up, I'll be fully and completely transparent. The love that my parents had, I didn't necessarily see it as this intense, fairy tale romance. He saw her, she saw him, they fell in love all of a sudden, bam, boom, the Big Bang happens. That wasn't what my parents had. However, my mom showed up for my dad every single day of her life, and my dad showed up for my mom every single day of his life. And there was this pragmatic love. It wasn't lust and intensity and insanity, because that fizzles out so quickly. When my mom got sick, I saw my dad carry her down the stairs. I saw my dad take her to the bathroom. I saw my dad change her in the hospital. No matter what went on in life, my parents went through so much hardship together. They dealt with so much. I didn't have the easiest, most lovely childhood, but what stood out throughout that whole time was that they just chose each other in the dark just as much as they chose one another in the light. And I feel sometimes in modern dating, we can get very distracted by the shiny kind of love, and by the love that is this supernova, or we tend to seek those intense moments with people, and those connections can be really beautiful. But there's a simple, calm, easiness kind of pragmatic love that exists. And that's the kind of love that shows up for you when you're not a shining or perfect example of who you've always wanted to be. And yeah, I know that my mom was so unbelievably thankful for the kind of love my father was able to give her before she passed away. And he showed up for her in ways that astounded everyone around us. And it was really, really beautiful to see. And it affirmed within my heart that I didn't want to settle for anything less than someone who would be that kind of person for me. Because right now I am this 28-year-old person who's living and loving and experiencing so much and traveling the world and exploring, and life is so unbelievably perfect. Everything is shiny and new, and I guess perfect is the right word. And life is perfect, but it's so easy to be chosen in your perfection. You really want to make sure that you are reminding yourself that you deserve someone who loves you pragmatically and in a way that shows up for you when you are not your best. And so, yeah, that was one of my biggest lessons last year, and it's really helped me to stop settling for things that don't mirror that, or things that don't meet me where I am when I may not be a perfect version of who I want to be. Obviously, this whole podcast has been more of of a reminder. I understand that I'm not necessarily going into tips and tricks and here's a 10-step program towards knowing what you deserve. That's really difficult to figure out. And you're going to figure it out as you experience more people and as you throw yourself and slam yourself into these different dynamics and these different human beings. But at the end of the day, if there's anything I can leave you with, it's that you deserve to be loved the way you love others. And I have a little activity. It's still like a Hallmark card poetic kind of thing because it's me here, let's be honest. But I want you to think about all of the ways that you desire to love someone. I want you to think about all of the ways you desire to show up for someone and all of the ways that you genuinely desire to care for someone. So many people message me saying things like, I just know I have so much to give another human being. So many people message me and they just talk about having so much hope in their hearts, so much curiosity and belief in their hearts that they just want to pour into another human being. So many people exist like that. There are people in this world who go to sleep wishing that they could just like bring soup to their sick significant other or, wake them up with coffee in the morning. These small and nameless and then big ways that we all strive to show up for the people in our lives, the ways that we dream to love others. I want you to remind yourself of all of the ways that you do that, all of the little things that you want to do for the people in your life. And I want you to affirm within yourself that you aren't the only one in the world who is thinking those things. You're not alone in hoping for a beautiful kind of love. There are so many people around you who are going to sleep or waking up in the morning or going throughout their days with the same thoughts. And there are so many people in the world who would want to give you that kind of love and who would want to value you the way that you so eagerly leap towards valuing others and caring for others and sending your heart to war for others. You're not alone in that. And I hope that reminds you that that kind of love exists. It exists within you, and therefore in a world of billions, you have to believe that it exists in another person who you just might by chance crash into as well. And yeah, that's one of the biggest things that I've had to remind myself of. Just that if I'm feeling this way, other people are too. Not just in my confusion or in trying to navigate that space of reminding myself of my worth, but also other people feel the way I feel in my depth and in the way that I care and in my empathetic heart. And that's something to just remind myself that I'm finding and searching for right now, because it does exist and it is out there and it is waiting to be discovered. I always have to say, when I talk about soulmates or relationships or love, you can give all of that to yourself as well. And that's like the last little reminder. Like, it's okay if you are alone right now and figuring out what you deserve, because when you do really figure out what you seek in relationships and connections, and when you do really just, I guess, like fight for what you want to feel with another human being, and you're okay until you find that love that comes into your life, you're not gripping at it, you're not using it for validation or to fill a void. It's not an unhealthy attachment that you're using in order to find worth within yourself. When you really, really stand up for who you want to be and how you want to love and how you want to be loved in this world, you find worth within yourself. You give that worth to yourself, and you value yourself enough to understand that the people who are coming into your life are beautiful human beings, but if they leave, they'll never destroy you, because you will always be your own home. So just know that if you're not in a romantic relationship right now, or if you're taking the time to figure out yourself on like a soul full foundational level, that's beautiful, because it's only going to set you up to find an even more beautiful connection in the future that is like so for you versus settling for something that is only just validating you. I hope that helped. I hope if you're listening to this in the morning or before you fall asleep at night that your heart feels just encouraged, and I hope you've been reminded of what you deserve, or at least inspired to seek it out. I just wanted to talk to all of you like I was talking to my friend, or trying to encourage them within their hearts. That's really important to me. And I understand I ramble and I get really passionate about things, but that's just the way I would talk to you if I was like hugging you in person. And so I hope you felt that. And I really, really, really hope that your heart feels seen in this podcast. And if you need content that is almost like similar to this, or if you want to dive deeper into these topics, I think all of you should check out the Thought Catalog app. It's really incredible in the sense that it has trending topics that have so much to do with self-love and romance, and really taking care of yourself and figuring yourself out. But there's also like you can go through it based on topics. So if this has inspired you, you can find a topic very similar to it and then explore more articles and poems relative to it. I have a few articles up on there too, so you can check those out. But if you need a little more from this topic, or if you're striving to just like dive into the depths of this topic a little more, then I would definitely recommend checking that out, because it funnels a lot of my inspiration.